politics in Arizona is always messy. That's why today's conversation matters. I'm speaking with State Republican Senator John Kavanagh about his legislative proposal to shield small political donors. But we ended up talking about public education, the governor's race, and the fight for control of the Arizona legislature next year. Stick around. You don't want to miss it. So welcome to NOTAS, Senator, and you looking forward to the new legislative session?
Oh, absolutely. I think this will be my 18th or 19th, so always an interesting journey, always something new, and it keeps me occupied.
So we are talking today about one of your proposals that you will be discussing beginning in the next legislative session. So essentially the way that I understand it is a simple bill, but an important one. So it shields donors or small donors from having their personal information being out there in the public. So campaign finance reports won't include information of donors who give $200 or less. Did I get that right? That
is correct. Because the current level is $100.
So tell me, why is this necessary?
Well, we have a new political climate in America, and it's an extremely toxic climate. People think that the end justifies the means, and if somebody is advocating or supporting a political position, especially on a volatile, hot issue, be it abortion or guns or whatever, they believe that the end justifies the means, and I'll do whatever I can to attack and destroy the reputation and even the livelihood of those who are on the other side of the fence on the issue. I've been in the legislature for like 19 years now. A while back when I was teaching full-time at Scottsdale Community College, every now and then the dean would tell me that people are calling the president's office, if it was a controversial bill I was sponsoring, saying, "Why do you hire this person? You need to fire him. He's literally taking away my livelihood." And these bills often passed, and some of them were ballot referrals that the voters passed. So these were not like insane positions. They were certainly positions that those on the other side of the political divide, were really upset about. But to destroy somebody's life, and the current campaign law, which says if you give a contribution of $100 or less, less than 100. You're only shielded if you give a contribution under 100. So if you do $100 or more, then the campaign report contains not only your name, but your address, and even worse, your employer. If we were literally feeding information to people to destroy somebody, we would say, yeah, let me know where they live and who their boss is so I can go after them. And that's what this campaign finance current law does. Now, I understand it's a balancing act. On the one hand, there's the need of people to know who are influencing elections, because that's a relevant factor, who's behind this measure or this candidate. But on the other hand, there's the privacy of donors. So it's a balancing act. And to me, the issue is, let's reveal the names of big donors that are making a difference, not the small players. And quite frankly, $200 or less, those are small players. They're not swinging elections. Actually, probably $500 or less is reasonable, but I don't think I can get that passed. So I'm just going to go to $200 or less and relieve them of the exposure.
I believe you're correct. Personally, I would want to have everything open. Transparency is everything to me, but on the other hand, I believe you are correct, and that $100 is not going to make a difference. It's not going to swing in elections.
No, absolutely. But not only does it, when you discourage ordinary people from making donations to campaigns, what you do is you make the big players even more significant. So it actually has the reverse effect of what it's trying to do. It forces small people out of a donation thing, making candidates and measures rely on big money people. And then we find out many of these big money people are hiding behind these PACs and these special charitable groups. So they're making massive donations, and the small guy, someone's calling his boss, or someone's writing nasty letters to his house. It's, or harassing the parents, or if the person owns a small business, boycotting the person's business. The revenge that people can put on people thinking they're doing the right thing is terrible. The worst thing in the world is a good person doing bad things because they think it's good. They can get really vicious.
So, and why did you decide to do it now?
Well, I've tried it in the past and it's failed, but the old saying, if at first you don't succeed, try again. I've had many bills that that failed, year after year. I'll usually wait until a new legislature comes in, or a new governor comes in if it was vetoed to do that. But you keep trying. Hey, look, we hardly ever agree on bills, but I kept trying, and now I've got you to agree on one of my bills. And 1 out of 3,000 isn't bad. We're making progress.
You'll keep trying. And I think you answered the other question that I have. Why 200? Like, what's the magic number or the amount? And you're mentioning that's the amount that you think that you can get enough votes. Yeah,
I also think that 200 or less picks up most of the small donors. I don't get that many donations over $200. So, it's kind of unusual. Maybe there are other people, and I'm majority leader, so it's not like, like I'm not somebody that people wouldn't want to, make friends with donations. But yeah, the average person is going to give $200 or less. So I think we pick up pretty much, 99% of everyday people if we do that.
Do you think you have enough votes to move it forward? And then do you think the governor will be open to considering?
Well, I think I have enough votes. I think most people, realize that it discourages. Even beyond the philosophical thing of protecting your constituents, I think a lot of candidates like me realize that it also suppresses our donations. So we get less money. So I think I would have the votes. In terms of the governor, I'm a little concerned. This year, well, not this year, for the last 5 years, elections and election transparency are big buzzwords. So I'm afraid that with her up for re-election, even if she thinks it's a good idea, and I'm not saying she does, people can disagree with me on this, but even if she thinks, I'm concerned she might be afraid of the optics of making it look like she's being non-transparent. So, but we'll see.
Yeah, no, well, good luck with that. So anything else that you're looking forward to this legislative session? Any other big bills that you are considering or that you want to see?
Oh, well, I do, I do about 40 bills. I do a lot of bills. I do, if I'm watching a TV show like Fox, of course, which is why a lot of my bills you don't like, and I see something that upsets me, or if I'm reading the newspaper, and I subscribe to the Arizona Republic, that annoys me, I'll say, hey, there ought to be a law. Oops, I'm a lawmaker, so I do a law on it. A lot of people come to me, even outside my district, with problems, and I'll run bills for them. I do a lot of humane animal legislation, contrary to my reputation of being a heartless Republican. I've actually gotten the Humane Society, the U.S. award 3 times, Legislator of the Year. Do a lot of bills protecting people from lunatic HOA harassment and things like that. And a lot of the, companies and lobbyists, will come to me because they know I have a pretty good track record of getting bills through. And if it's a reasonable bill, then I'm good with it. Most of my bills are not toxic, red meat, blue-red bills. Most of them are just reasonable legislation.
Any predictions for 2026? Any political predictions here in Arizona in the legislature or anything else? It's just going to be a wild year. Well,
I think the first big legislative issue, the 2 big issues will be the Prop 123, and everyone thinks we have to pass it. I agree. We certainly would help the budget because we wouldn't have to backfill $300 million that we're replacing because we didn't renew it and it expired. But there are a lot of Republicans that would like to see some ESA protections included in it. So we'll see what happens with that. Of course, that's purely a Republican decision. We have the votes and we can put it through even if and the governor can't veto a ballot referral. So we'll see what happens there. Conformity to the federal tax law is interesting. Trump passed a lot of tax cuts. If we had our Arizona state tax align with that and gave the same deductions at the state level, which we would like to do as Republicans, that would cost $440 million. The governor, she's going halfway there. I think she's going with most of the personal, individual cuts, but doesn't want to do the business cuts. So we'll negotiate that. I think in the end we'll do all the cuts because, as far as I know, people are going to start filing their tax returns in early January, and we're not going to have a resolution by then. So the Department of Revenue is setting up the forms and the online and the paper forms right now. And if they do what they've always done, they're going to be doing full conformity, which means they're going to take all of those things in. And if, several months in the session we change that, then they would have to start, mailing people who are taxpayers letters saying this deduction isn't there, you owe us this money. And I think even the governor doesn't want to have letters arriving in voters' mailboxes in October saying, because of the governor or legislature, you owe us another $400. So I'm predicting full conformity.
Yeah, that's a lot going on. So I think you're one of the few in leadership and otherwise that is not running for another office. It seems to be like almost everyone there is running for something else. So any final thoughts, any final predictions?
I think and I hope that Arizona's economy is doing pretty well. We were actually going to have $600 million in new revenue this year, right? And I think the country is eking along upward slowly. I think it's going to get a kind of a big boost. So I think by the November elections, Trump will have a pretty good public rating, which will help Republican voters. And I think the increase in Republican voter registration that groups like Turning Point created by going door to door, I think you're going to see Republicans not only hold the legislature, but gain a few seats. And I think whoever wins the Republican primary is going to be the next governor. So if not my prediction, certainly my wish.
Well, with that, we'll end it. Senator, thank you so much for joining me today. You're welcome here anytime.
Yeah, no, anytime, just give me a call. Good to talk with you. Bye-bye.